Lori Gay is a critical care registered nurse at the Salt Lake Regional Medical Center, a position she's held for the past 21 years. In 2002, Lori and her coworkers decided to form a union so they would have a voice in helping deliver safe patient care and earn more respect on the job. The hospital responded by hiring anti-union consultants, pulling nurses off patient care to attend anti-union meetings, and claiming that the hospital would be forced to close if workers joined the union. In May of 2002, the nurses held an election, but unfortunately the hospital challenged the results, saying that Lori and many of the other organizers were actually supervisors. The regional National Labor Relations Board eventually ruled that nearly half the nurses were supervisors, and the workers are currently seeking review of this decision by the National Labor Relations Board. Welcome, Ms. Gay.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity to be here today. My name is Lori Gay. I have been a critical care registered nurse for 21 years at Salt Lake Regional Medical Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. I work in the intensive care unit, taking care of the hospital's sickest patients. It is a very physical and mentally demanding job. Every day at our hospital, nurses are asked to do more with less, and we struggle to have our voices heard, which is why we decided to form a union. We wanted to protect our patients and ourselves against management making decisions about health care based on the bottom line. Delivery of safe patient care and winning respect on the job fueled our organizing drive in 2001. After 8 months of campaigning with the United American Nurses and educating nurses in our hospital about what we could accomplish through forming a union, we voted in a National Labor Relations Board representation election in May 2002. However, the hospital's owner, Tennessee-based IASIS Healthcare, appealed the election to the regional office of the NLRB in Denver. IASIS argued that the charge nurses, about 2/3 of the nursing staff, were actually supervisors and should therefore be excluded from the bargaining unit. Our ballots were impounded, meaning they were never opened or counted. We hoped that a favorable ruling from the regional director would result in an order for our ballots to be opened and honored, but unfortunately, after we got that favorable regional decision, the legal struggle was far from over. IASIS appealed to the NLRB in Washington, D.C. For 5 years, our ballots have remained impounded while we have waited for clarification on what it means to be a supervisor. The ballot I cast in 2002 has never been opened and may never be counted. A fact I now blame more on ambiguous legal language than anything else. When the Oakwood decisions were released last year, the Washington, D.C. NLRB remanded our case back to the regional director. According to the regional director's decision, 64 out of 153 nurses at Salt Lake Regional Medical Center in 2002 were supervisors, including myself. All the RNs in the neonatal intensive care unit were declared to be supervisors, essentially supervising each other on a rotating basis. In the inpatient rehab unit, 10 of the 12 RNs were declared to be supervisors. In the newborn nursery, 10 of the 12 RNs were also declared to be supervisors. In the labor and delivery unit, the ratio of supervisors to non-supervisory employees was 12-5. In the surgical unit, the ratio was 10-7. The regional director arrived at these absurd results through an analysis of what it means to perform what is called charge duty. I want to talk to you today about what it means to be a charge nurse. Basically, as a charge nurse, I am in charge of the pencil. Typically, I spend 10 minutes at the end of my shift filling out an assignment sheet for the oncoming shift, making sure that every patient has a bed and a nurse. I record the traffic in and out of the unit. It is simple as that. I don't have the authority to hire, fire, evaluate, or promote other nurses, nor do I have the authority to discipline another nurse for not taking an assignment or for doing an assignment poorly. Any nurse who has been on the job for a year or more is automatically added to the pool of nurses who serve charge duty. There is no application process for the job, and there is no job description. Anyone who works there for a year is expected to charge on occasion. The reality of the situation that we are now dealing with is absurd. Management tells us that only nurses who can safely engage in protected union activity are the nurses who have worked for less than a year, the younger nurses, because they are not serving charge yet. And even those nurses will only be protected for a short time until they start serving charge. There are some days when I come into work and look around, and every nurse on the floor is someone who at some time or another serves as a charge nurse, and therefore, according to these absurd rules, is a supervisor. Now, that just doesn't pass the common sense test. Simply labeling someone a supervisor doesn't make them a supervisor if the institutional structure doesn't support it. When we serve charge duty, we have a responsibility without authority. When I am designated the charge nurse, I still have a full load of my own patients. If there are nurses who have problems with the assignments I make, I refer them to the unit director, who is the real supervisor. He has the power to hire, fire, discipline, evaluate, and promote. He also goes to regular managerial meetings that we are not invited or welcome to attend. The supervisors at my hospital, like the unit director, are paid a salary. They get bonuses and compensation time. When I serve charge duty, I get $1 more an hour, as long as I remember to clock in correctly. All I do is put patients in beds. At the end of the day, I don't see myself as a supervisor, and neither do my colleagues. At our hospital, there's a managerial track and there's a clinical track. And as nurses, we squarely are within the clinical track. We take care of patients. That's what we do. I believe that nurses will continue to lose their rights until Congress steps in to establish rules that reflect reality. I'm here to ask you to make the law do just that. Nurses like me are not supervisors in the real world. We should be protected. The way things are now, nurses in this country will never have a clear and directed path to having their voices heard, a basic premise of democracy in this country. That disheartens me because, as a nurse for 21 years, I believe that what is good for nurses is also what's best for patients. Thank you.